I'm sure it is. And like right here, it's just me giving you a little bit there. I really think that's hard. Yeah, type of shadow. You know, that's what we talked about that before. You know, even it was another scripture I just had on the top of my head, and I can't think of what it is now. I'm not about to say. But anyway, it'll come back to me. Let's go, Pastor. How you doing, good morning? Anybody else have anything on that?
And, yeah, about the without blemish, that could be like, Jesus had no sin.
Had no sin.
You know, could be something like that. Still like a child.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I think of a lamb or sheep, in concerning the Bible that's been, you know, talked about in the Bible, you know, I always look at it when it comes down to my Savior, you know, what God requires, or when it comes down to His people, you know, His people's look, we're seen as sheep and lamb, God's people, but the lamb, when you talk about one specific, I look at that as a shadow or the foretelling of Christ. Right? I mean, even when it comes down to Abraham sacrificing Isaac. Y'all remember that? You know, God allowed Abraham to speak to Isaac concerning the sacrifice before they even went up to the mountain. You know, he told his father, I see the wood and the fire, but where's the sacrifice? Mm-hmm. And he told Isaac that God would provide himself a sacrifice. Now, with that being said, you know, Abraham still had in mind, if God is telling me that I must kill my son, that I will kill my son, because if he said that I will be a father of nations, then he will bring him back to me. But nonetheless, you know, God allowed him to speak in prophecy that I don't think that he was really aware of. That God, because when he was finna draw the knife down on his son, the angel of the Lord stopped him. He said, "Do no harm to the child." And then next thing you know, he looked over and there was a ram caught in the thicket. And I looked at it, you know, he was caught in the thicket. It had to be thorns there. You know, he was just caught. He couldn't go anywhere. And Abraham sacrificed him. And so therefore, you think about Jesus, you know, him being sacrificed, he was the ultimate sacrifice. He was the Lamb of God. God provided himself a lamb, being Jesus Christ. And now being caught in the thicket, just think about this thing for a moment. The lamb being caught in the thicket, Jesus had a crown of briars on his head.
Yeah.
So think about it. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. But that's a great question.
I know we got to go on.
No, go
on. Would you rule out what Sister Lila was saying about, you know, a female lamb goes through the menstrual cycle and stuff? Rule that out as not being.
I wouldn't rule it out. I really just don't know. I would just rule out a female lamb, period, because, you know, of Christ. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I keep saying I don't know, but I still keep going back to Jesus Christ. And forgive me if I'm confusing you, but I keep getting right on going back to Jesus Christ. This is the reason. Amen. Anybody else?
I will be going try to look at that.
That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm talking about. Amen. So, 6, 11, and 12, right?
No, 6.
6 to 11?
No, just 6.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, just 6. Thank you.
And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. The sacrifice of Passover. That's the right one. The slaughter of the animal. The sacrificial lamb was to be kept until the 14th day of the month. Then every family group was to slaughter the lamb in the evening. Judaism traditionally understood this to mean about 3 o'clock p.m.
Amen. So you should keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So how many days is it taking? So let's go back and look at verse 3. It says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of the month shall ye take to them a man, every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house." And then verse 6 is saying, "You shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month." It's 4 days, right?
I'll just be honest with you, I don't see that.
What?
How you get 4 days?
10 to 14?
Chosen on the 10th day, he set aside. And then it was sacrificed on the 14th day. Kept to the 14th day.
Yeah.
That's 4 days.
And then every family group was to slaughter the lamb in the evening. Judaism traditionally understood this to mean about 3 p.m. So the first hour started at what? I mean, even when it comes down to time, do we understand this? Even when it comes down to time, our time is not the same as the Hebrews or the Israelites. Because when you think about, we were talking earlier about the calendar, between the Hebrew calendar and our Julian or Gregorian calendar not being the same. Our calendar starting in January, their calendar starting in March. Now, the time is going to be different as well. And that goes all the way back to the book of Genesis. Because when you look at the book of Genesis doing creation, and when he created everything, he said, and the evening and the morning was the first day. He didn't say the morning and the evening, he said the evening and the morning. In other words, the evening came before the morning. Y'all understand that? So in the Hebrew, today, right, this morning, it's going on 11 o'clock. Around about, I guess, between 3 and 6, sometime like that, that's going to start a new day. Y'all do that.
Yeah. I mean, I read it in Genesis, but
Yeah.
I didn't really understand.
So that is going to start the new day. Not 12 a.m., but it's actually start when, I guess, sometime when the sun is preparing to go down. That's going to be the beginning of your next day. So when we look at, also when we look at our time, they talk about the hour. The first hour being 6 o'clock. The second hour, they talk about the first to the first to the third to the sixth to the ninth hour. 6, 9, 3. 6 a.m. the first hour, 9 a.m. the third hour, 12 at 12, 4, 3, 5, is that right? somewhere around there.
I thought the 5 o'clock was a 4th hour.
So the first hour starts at 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then you know, and then 7 be the second, 8 is the third, 9. Seven is second, 8 is third. I'm going to confuse myself here if I don't stop. I'm serious. I had this thing down pat one time. Now I forgot. I ain't looked at it so long. Now I forgot. But that's the way it is. But it just goes to show the difference between our calendar, our time, compared to the Hebrew calendar and the Hebrew time. They're vastly different. They're completely different. Mm-hmm.
I was reading, and they stated that between the days that they got the lamb, they took good care of the lamb. They treated it with tender, loving care as it was a pet. So they did. They were stating this as how we are supposed to treat Christ. And so they couldn't have, they had to, because it didn't supposed to have any type of blemishes or that type of thing. So while this lamb was in their care, they kept it with tender, loving care.
That's a good point.
Because I think about what y'all was saying about how they, you know, the 10th day of the month, they would gather together. Then up until the 14th day, like you said, 4 days later, almost like when we, you know, they get ready to get slaughtered. So it's like they're getting purified, even though they have no blemish. Because we would put those hogs on the trailer and we'll feed them corn or whatever you're going to kill, you're going to put it up for a while. People that ate possum, I did they did the same thing. Put them in a old barrel. And they keep it in there for 4 or 5 days.
That's it.
To get them purified.
Clean them out.
That's right, clean them out. That's it. And I imagine that's what they were doing because they get ready. Everything had to be pure. You know, because they still were eating out there in the land and stuff, you know. And so I imagine that's part of it. But God is so specific about time, and He does things in so precise order. And He wants us to do the same thing. You know, the 10th day. Then wait till the 11th day, because some of us, He said the 10th day of the month, some of us wait till the 15th. and so I like the part about God and time. It's very crucial. You know, God is about order of time. And like I said, they are on a different time. And I used to have that calendar a long time ago. I got to look for it, see if I can find it in my stuff.
Yeah.
To know the time, but it's crucial. Those mean, they mean something.
Yeah. But even with that, it's accessible on the internet. If y'all, anybody want to go check it out, but it's definitely accessible. This is Paul.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, when we go to different areas, just even now, the time is different. I know when I go to my friends in Missouri, they like an hour behind. And so when she called me late, she always apologized. And I remember when we went to Paris, at night was you all's day, I think, and you all day was our night. And so I would get confused and be calling the family members, and it was like waking them up because it was, you know, the different time change, and that was sort of weird to me.
Which always been strange to me. And, well, I get it. What the reason that they're saying it is that, you know, and I forgot when this occurred, America or certain parts of the U.S. Had a time change system. You know, y'all know in just with the end of this month, sometime next month, we're gonna fall back.
Next Sunday, I think. Daylight savings.
Okay.
I think it's next week.
So our time is gonna change manually.
But I wonder why we changed that time. But you know, I don't want to keep it.
Well,
They said it's for the farmers, but that's what they taught us in school.
Yeah. You know, it was for the farmers, the agrarian situation to make sure that we can, you know, gather our crops longer and whatnot, because as the earth rotates and whatnot, get funky from the sun, and and then it gets darker faster and whatnot. So they said, well, during the springtime, let's move the time up, and that way we can start early and whatnot. And in the wintertime, let's move the time back so we can work later, or vice versa. Yeah. So that's what happened, you know. Yeah, but in other parts of the world, the time stays the same. People respect what God's decision is, what decision He made,
Right.
how He calls the time to go.
I always wondered, Reverend Pastor, about why we change the time and the sun gonna come up when it's red, moon gonna come up when it's red. If anything, I said the farmer ought to adjust to the sun and the moon. If he gets up at 6 o'clock or when it breaks at 6 o'clock and when it changes and it start getting light at 5, then he just had to get up early. Or adjust his time and just leave it alone. They farm over there across the waters.
Yes, it is. But Pastor, it lets me know so many times that people have in mind, and those that believe in God, they say God did pretty good. He did pretty good. But we got to outdo it. You know, we gonna make it just right.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad. You know, we appreciate what he did, but we're gonna touch it and yeah. It's just like, you know, y'all finna get a little comfortable here. You cook your stew and whatnot, you season the way you want to, and to you, your soup is good.
Right.
And then somebody coming to your house and, you know, go into your pot, stir your pot and want to taste and whatnot, and they might put a little something in it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you know, all you need to do is put. You knew how you wanted your soup to be.
Right.
But then somebody come in there and, you know.
They got to add a little more sugar.
Yeah, add a little more this, a little more that. This is what we're doing to God.
That's it.
Yeah, that's just another form of disobedience, but He told us to change no time.
No.
He told us to change no time, that's disobedience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now, I cooked the soup one day. I cooked the soup one time and everybody ate it. It was perfect. I mean, nobody put no salt, no pepper, they put nothing in it. It was just almost perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
So did they take it home?
Did
Did they take it home?
Yeah, they took some home.
So, pick on you a little bit.
They did.
You setting yourself up.
Wait till they got home.
All right. Where are we? Verse 7.
And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they shall eat the blood of the animals. Once a lamb was killed, some of its blood was to be put on the side posts and the lintel across the top. The blood was to be placed on each house wherein the lamb was eaten. All this had obvious symbolic value, though clearly it was not grasped in its fullness at this time. It immediately pointed out the great price of redemption, and symbolically it pointed toward the death of Jesus Christ.
Wow. That go back to kind of the answer to the question, right? About the male versus the female lamb. Because it's saying right here that it pointed back. So it immediately pointed out the great price of redemption, and symbolically it points towards the death of Jesus Christ. Now, this is what I was asking the question earlier about. What if they chose not to do exactly as He had said? What would have been the outcome?
It would have been slaughtered. Disobedient.
Huh?
Disobedient.
Yeah. Y'all get it now? I didn't want to jump ahead. Because they had to put the blood on the doorpost, around the door. Now, had they not done that, they would have died that night.
And it goes to show that some of them might have not understood why, but they had obedience to do, even if they not, some of them didn't understand why I got to put it on the side of the pole. Some of them might have not understood, but they did it because they trusted in the leader telling them that God said to do it.
Yeah, well, you
I
about
know.
to get in trouble. You exactly right. You exactly right. That is a good one. That's a good one. You ain't gonna understand everything.
That's it.
I mean, think about it. There was an adults in the house. There was a husband in the house. There was a wife in the house. There were the children in the house. You mean to tell me that when they went around and they sacrificed that lamb, killed that lamb, and everybody did it the same way? In every house, everybody did it the same way. And in every house, everybody put the blood around the doorpost. Now, do you think all those children understood what they were doing? Do you think they understood why that they were doing what they were doing? But yet still, whatever father or mother told them to do, this is what they did.
Generation after generation.
Yeah. And everybody turned out okay. Everybody turned out good. Matter of fact, for the children of Israel, from what I understand.
Right.
Anybody else? Not my quiet. All right, let's look at 8 through 11.
And they shall eat the flesh. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat now of it raw, no salt at all with water, but roast with fire. His head with his legs, and with the pertinent before. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning shall burn with fire. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. The eating of the animal. Moses and Aaron also relayed the Lord's instruction concerning the preparation of the meal. The lamb was to be roasted over an open fire and eaten the same night, along with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Bread could be made much quicker without leaven or yeast, since there was no waiting for the dough. Rise. Unleavened bread symbolized the Israelite hasty departure from Egypt. The lamb was to be roasted whole over a fire. It was the quickest way to prepare the meat. Meat was to be eaten entirely. If any after remained, it was to be burned, not saved for later. The Israelites were to eat the meat while fully prepared to travel. The meal itself would be quickly prepared and was to be eaten hurriedly. The reason given for these instructions was it is the Lord's Passover. This is the first mention of the word Passover.
Amen. Now, y'all still see God gave Moses and Aaron still specific instructions to what they were to do. He said, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not it raw. He said, don't eat it raw. sodden at all with water, but roast with fire. You ain't gonna boil it. His head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. And that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus ye shall eat it, this is what I like, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet. Well, ain't no time for sleeping.
That's right.
Huh? And your staff in hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. It ain't no time to kick your feet up and sit back at the table and conversate about what we did yesterday or what we're going to do tomorrow. We need to eat it in haste.
That's right.
That is something that occurred, that's going to occur during this time. And so therefore you need to make yourselves ready. What was going to occur? Y'all don't know.
The Passover.
There's something else that's going to occur during that time as well. There was something that's going to occur during that time. Sometime that night.
The plague.
The plague.
Amen.
The plague.
Amen.
There was going to be death throughout the land of Egypt. Where all the households that have a firstborn associated with it will die. There was going to be, to me, it'd be death in every household in the land of Egypt. That was going to be a huge cry in all of Egypt. Can you imagine people in every household crying? Yes, lamentation going on throughout the whole land.
And they also stated the firstborn of every animal also.
Oh yeah. Firstborn of everything.
Amen.
But none of the children of Israel was affected.
That's right. That's right.
But with a mighty hand.
Amen.
With a mighty hand. Pharaoh's army, Pharaoh willed it, you go. And that was his mighty hand. Anybody else?
I would like to say, they was talking about the roasted lamb, and they was talking about the bitter herbs. The bitter herbs is supposed to have been the cup that, the bitterness that Jesus didn't want to take the cup, but he said not his will, but the Lord's will.
I see what you're saying, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. And I could be totally wrong. I don't think I quite agree with that. But as far as comparing to the bit of herb that they're putting on the food compared to the cup that he had to drink from, the suffering. You know, it's hard to say. That's an interesting question that you bring up.
Well, I was reading it, and it made that statement.
Oh, it really?
Yes, yes.
Right. I can't, like I said, I can't say that you're wrong, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, when you think about it, I can see why they would probably associate the two, because it's still pointing back at Jesus, him drinking from the cup, you know, and he asked the Father allowed to pass from it, but he said not his will, but the Father's will. And the bitter herb, you know, I guess I would have to look at and say, okay, when you look at the bitter herb that they're talking about, how they talk about the bitter herb, you know, that's going to go on the roasted meat. You know, so that's something I never even looked up before.
It said that the lamb was roasted whole over a fire was the quickest way to prepare the meat. Well, I mean, why did they didn't cut it open and gut it? I mean, it seemed like it would have been quicker if they gutted and got the inside out. I mean,
Y'all ask some great questions that I don't know. I mean, but it goes back to, it all points back to Christ. You know, it's still symbolism, still the type of shout. Jesus was not torn to pieces.
I mean, you hold him purely. I mean, it's just a question that came up when you said he roasted him whole.
Yeah. I remember he told his disciples, he said, "You must eat of my flesh and drink of my blood." Y'all remember that? But when he told them, many, not a few, many turned away from him and would not follow him anymore. Because they looked at him as he's trying to make them, they seem to think that he's trying to turn them into cannibals. Eating human flesh, and which they did not understand what he was talking about. And that's when he turned and asked Peter, will you turn away from me too? He said, well, Peter's response is, where would I go? So Peter had somewhat of understanding what Jesus was talking about. But, I see what you're saying, but, when you look at it, we're not cannibals. I don't think we are, hope we're not. But nonetheless, we still must drink of his cup, and we still must eat of his flesh. We have to do that to have a part in him. Right?
I don't know if they could have, when mean whole, it could mean that they didn't cut them up in pieces, like we do sometime today when we put a whole hog on the show on the grill. Sometimes you might cut it up in quarters depending on the weight of it. But they could have emptied it out the body and just cooked it whole on a stove. I think they put it on an open fire. They probably could have gutted them out and then kept the whole piece whole with the feet and legs, tail and all that. Possibility. I don't know, but I mean, that could have happened too. Instead of cutting them up, in a short half or thirds of, like they would prepare chickens or whatever. Because I think back in those days, looking at some of the history stuff, they cooked everything, whole bird, chicken, everything. Fish, whole head. So people cook fish with whole head on it. Eyes still in there and everything. Tail all fried. That would be a whole piece, the whole piece of fish.
Yeah. I thought about that, but even still, I mean, and to add to that, if you, let's say, we don't know how they roasted them,
Right,
they say roasted, but we don't know exactly how they roasted. But if you think about, in our Western days, we would put, the animal up there and they'd be turning. And you can carve that animal as it's turning, as a certain part of it gets ready, get done and whatnot, you carve it off of it, and the rest of it is still roasted.
But burned down to the fire to get the meat crisp. They ate some crispy meat.
Yeah. Amen. All right, so we're going to, where we at, the last one?
12 and 13.
12 and 13.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both male and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, when the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. The details of the Passover. The final plague was coming the very night the meal was eaten, and there would be a clear distinction in the plague between the Egyptians and the Israelites. The Passover would involve the Lord's passing through the land in judgment. In doing so, he would kill all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. This plague would also be the final strike against the gods of Egypt. Their gods had not protected them against all the previous 9 plagues, and neither would they prove helpful in this last one. The supremacy of God would be manifested by his protection of Israel throughout the plague. The blood upon their houses would distinguish the Israelites' homes from the homes of the Egyptians. However, the blood was really a sign, not for God, but for Israel. God knew full well who his people were. The blood was a sign to the people themselves.
Now, so when you look at this right here, he said, "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborns in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord." When you look at that, it said, "I am and against all the gods of Egypt." How many gods are there? Hey, I want to see who can get that wrong. Well, I'll tell you. There's only one. But the Egyptians, they acknowledged more than one. They acknowledged many. And none of them was the God of Israel. None of them was the God of the Hebrew. And so therefore, God himself was his goal. I didn't say goal. What he was going to do and what he did was to show all of Egypt that there is only one. There is no one like him. Their gods could not protect them from what he was going to do. Just about everything, if you up to this point, there were so many things that when God brought to the land of Egypt, the magicians, the magi, or the magi, whatever, the sorcerers, they all tried to counter it. Or they had in their mind, well, this is how this was done, and that's how that was done. This is all this is, my Lord Pharaoh. But then when it got to the point that when death came, when God gave Moses and Aaron the instructions to give to the children of Israel, that you put this blood around this post and this door, this mantle and whatnot, because this is what's going to happen. Death was going to visit the land. And death came. And there was nothing that a magician could have done about it. There was nothing a sorcerer could have done about it. It amazes me today. People look at y'all heard that term, root. People look towards roots rather than look at the God. Not realizing death is coming. You might can go to a witch or whatever the case is and think they're going to make your situation better. Death is coming. If nothing else is guaranteed in this world, that's guaranteed.
That's guaranteed. Exactly.
Huh? What are they going to do then? If you can go to a witch, and I can tell you right now that you can, but don't throw it out there, and you go to that witch and ask that witch, well, witch doctor, can you live forever? Witch doctor, y'all listen to that. If you go to him and ask him, witch doctor or witch or magician or whatever the case, can you live forever? And they tell you, yeah, first thing you know, you won't get them now and leave, or they lie.
I'm going to tell you which organization you think that you can live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Jehovah's Witnesses. And they think that at the end of destruction, that only a certain amount is going to heaven, and they don't be the only ones that live here on this earth forever. So that's it. Something right there.
You're right. And actually, I read up on that, and they changed that some years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason why they did, because if you look in the Bible in Revelations, when John, he looked and he said he saw 144,000, right? And so, to my understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, because you know more about it than I do, but they had in their mind that, that they are the 144,000.
They still think that they the only ones that's 144,000, and that they're the only ones that are going be here on the earth, and they think that they're the only true believers here on the earth. So you got a lot of people who still think that they're gonna be here on this earth forever.
But if they do the math, and that's all it takes.
And they don't look at the part when he says he opened up a seal and saw beyond.
And what did he see?
Beyond 100. Probably no man can outnumber.
Amen. So if you look at, I mean, this is all we got to do is just think about this thing for a moment. Now, when it comes down to people believing that, now even with Jehovah's Witnesses, y'all understand, there are more than 144,000 members of Kingdom Hall. That's today. There's more than 144,000.
Right.
So if only 144,000 is going to live forever,
Well, they think that 144,000 is going to heaven only, and then the rest of them they're going to be on earth.
oh,
That's what they think.
okay.
Yeah, that's what they think, that they're going to be here on earth, that nobody else is going to, everybody else, like you, me, and everybody else, we're going to be dead. And they're going to be here on earth, and they're going to be dispersed people here on earth. So, that's why sometimes you got to study and research different things, because you still have some people here. So you don't only have people that think they can go to a voodoo doctor and say, yeah,
That's
you
true.
got to be careful who coming to your door.
It's like New Orleans practice the voodoo and the witchcraft still today strong. You know, you want to know why all this destruction happens so violently in these areas. Even across the world, you know, in the eastern countries, parts of Africa, they still drinking cow blood. And they still practicing stuff and want to know why they still have famine to today.
Yeah. To her point, yeah, and you're right. To her point, we have to be the word.
Awake.
Amen. To know what's going on. Yeah. Because people, and the thing about it, and I told a lot of y'all about this before, people that understand, that really studies their belief, they are in it, and they understand it clearly. But there are so many people that say they are Christian that don't understand what they say they believe. Huh? If you say that you are a man or woman of God, but you're just saying it, that I'm a Christian or I'm a believer, but you don't know what you're believing, and then when somebody come and talk to you, they get you to change what you say you believe because you never understood what you said you believe. Y'all understand that? No. I'm going to read this last one. That is the last one, this 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by the ordinance forever. Are we still keeping this a feast? Yeah, no.
We not practicing.
I can mess y'all up with this, and some of you already know how I can mess you up. If you look in the Bible, I mean not in the Bible, but yeah, in the Bible, but what we were just talking about, there is a word that they use for Passover. Look in the bottom of the paragraph.
Passage.
Yes. Passage. If you look at the paragraph in verses 8 to 11. Y'all see it? People still somewhat celebrate it, but they don't know what they're celebrating. And I'm gonna tell you why they don't know, because it's not called this anymore. You know what you call it? Huh? Not exactly. But and the reason why I say not exactly, we still look at the communion as the Passover. But if you look at the Passover here, how often was it done? Once
A year.
a year. It was done once a year. So people are still doing it, but they don't know what they're doing because it's only being done once a year, so to speak. But they don't have, they're not doing what we don't have to sacrifice no lamb or anything. But as a memorial speaking, so, you know, God don't want us to perform no sacrifices on lamb, killing no lamb or whatnot, because he's the ultimate lamb. That's already done. But,
He fulfilled that already.
that's right, that's been fulfilled. But when we look at it, we call it Easter. Y'all didn't know that, did you?
That's a Passover.
That is the one, but we have taken that, told out of context. We don't call it Passover no more. We don't call it Passion no more. We have taken the name out and incorporated, for the mess with y'all here now, incorporated a pagan term and associated a pagan holiday with what's supposed to be in the Passover, and now we celebrate the pagan holiday.
Amen. Amen.
And the people say, well, Easter's in the Bible, Easter's in the Bible. It is in the Bible in one spot. And that's because of translation.
And around that time, they were doing the Passover.
People, you are exactly what I'm just going to say. People, all you got to do is read the contents concerning that scripture. And you will see that they was doing the same thing as they were doing in the Passover years before. They were doing the very same thing.
Mommy.
Now they're going to change that.
Yep.
I ain't messing with y'all no more right now. All right, at this time, we're going to turn to the hands of the little ones.
Amen.
The little ones. Jerry, get up. Hey. Come here. Jerry, come here.
Today we talked about the fruit and the biscuit.
So we picked up from the last class that I taught, we only discussed like 4 of the fruits. So today we just finished up the rest of the fruit this year. So we'll start with Journey, since you at the end. Journey, show everybody a paper.
There you go, hold it like that. Okay?
Ooh, that's
There you go.
good. So Journey has patience. So Cameron, what did we say patience meant?
Patience means that wait without complaints and without rushing people.
Okay. The next word, Akia. What's your word?
Gentleman.
All right.
So what did we say gentleness meant?
It means don't plain rough.
We broke these down into like terms for a kid. So we
Yeah,
said,
that means gentleness. That's it.
Trenton, what's your word?
Self-control.
What does that mean? You gotta show everybody the paper.
All right.
And your word is?
Faithfulness.
What did you say faithfulness meant?
To believe in God and have faith in Him.
Royalty, your word is kindness. What does kindness mean? You said to be kind, right?
Oh, my.
Listen, don't let her trip over that thing.
Okay.
All right.
And what does your paper say? Say it loud. Say it. Say it. Good.
All right.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. Y'all doing it. You're doing it.
Y'all learn stuff.
That's
All
right.
right. Y'all don't say anything? Y'all ready for bad? Anybody?
Passover, Easter.
Amen. You know-
Gives specific order and how we need to be obedient to the exact order that God gives us.
You know what? You're right. And First Lady, she said something key that we need to research. Now, that's something I talked about in the past. When you're reading and let's say when you see stuff, when people are doing stuff, and then we begin to do it, or wonder, should we be doing it? You really need to look it up and see, and I told y'all about this before. And people don't want to change because it sounds good and when it looks good, and you might say, it ain't bringing harm to nobody, blah, blah, blah. You might, well, I don't say you might, you need to look and see the origination or where it originated from. To see what was going on with it at the time. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Because once you start to look and see why are we doing something or why people are doing something, that'll give you a better determination whether you should be doing it or not. Just because everybody else is doing it does not mean that you're supposed to be doing it.
That's right.
Huh?
It's like, we used to practice Halloween, but we now have an understanding. We don't do Halloween no more.
And it's
You're going out here because this season is the season of the witches and the warlocks and those sorcerers. They gather together during these months and times, and they bring that to a paganism and we tell our kids we get candy
So you
and
can
put on your mom. I ain't gonna start.
Go ahead. I'm gonna say agree with you.
But I'm gonna tell you, I want to be in line with the word, and a lot of stuff that I used to do, I wean myself from doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we have to get off the ball too from the things that we used to do, custom or menial.
Amen.
And go back to what God say.
Amen.
And me and Pastor Carl talked about that. All these holidays that we celebrate. Then we look at what the holidays are, and they was all pagan holidays. And we were like, wow. So we weaned there, and I try to explain to my kids why we ain't doing certain things and why we don't participate. Then we know better, do better. And so a lot of people gonna call you funny. Kids like, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing but a little old costume. But
All is fun.
all is fun. And that's what the devil got us blind in. Like he told me, you ain't gonna surely die.
That's what he said, didn't
He
he?
said, you ain't gonna surely die. See, he done switched up what God said. God said, the day you eat of, even you touch, you gonna die. So he said, no, you ain't gonna die. See how you contradict? So they say, oh, it's all right, they get candy. And if they know, they pick it up and see spirit. They never know. They see all these monsters and they sleep. Then they got something going on in their mind. They open the door, man, and Satan playing with their mind. That's why we got to be careful.
Yeah. And people put it in there. I mean, well, it's there. It's shown to you, even though we're blind. When we talk about full walking blind, right? We are blind to see what it actually is, And I know this is going to spoil for somebody. Somebody's not even going to even care. But just so you know, you will know. When you look at the holiday that we got coming up now, trick or treat. It's right there. Y'all not see it. It's in the title. Trick or treat. I'm gonna give you a trick unless you treat me. People, even though a lot of us don't understand these children, we raising them up not even understanding because we don't even understand ourselves what's going on. But, you know, we really need to show them what it is. This is trickery.
Right.
See, they're running around hollering trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat because they just want candy.
Right.
Or something good for them. But when you look at it, where did this come from? What's the origination? It's the money.
A lot of companies, what so-called priests. Some of them started a lot of this stuff.
But, I mean, if it takes that, you know, you don't want to spoil the child that way, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with, I mean, well, it is. I feel there's nothing wrong with candy, but I love candy myself.
Right.
But to go around the neighborhoods and telling somebody trick or treat, that's, I mean, really, what are we showing our children? But, like I said, and I know some in here think the same thing, people don't want to hear this. People look at it and say it's too much.
You have to be careful with that too, because if you don't take your kids trick or treating, but you buy them a bunch of candy. As a kid, you can treat them. You know, so they thinking pretty much the same thing. Same, you know, when Christmas time comes. You leave out Santa Claus, but you go and buy all this stuff.
Amen. Amen. That's absolutely
And
right.
that comes with, like I was saying, we have to be weaning away from a lot of stuff, taking off that models of worldly stuff. And you know, because like I said, it ain't no different than Halloween, trick or treat, and Hallelujah night. I said that a couple Sundays ago. I mean, to be honest with you. You say, well, they got to do something. Well, we do something all throughout the year. We got to wait till that day, that specific day that they trick or treating to do something. We can take the bowling throughout the year. It ain't got to be around October. Take it January, July, August.
Don't put up a Christmas tree, but Christmas morning, the floor is full of coals. The only thing left out is the tree just ain't there.
Amen. Amen. Oh.
You know we opening it up words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, anyway, we're going to prepare this Sunday school so we can move forward. Amen. Let's come to our feet first line. Father God, we want to thank you right now, Lord, for everything that was said and done, Father God, in our Sunday school. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for the children that came and presented themselves, Father God. We ask you, Lord, to continue to bless them, Father God, and pour your word in their little bodies, that their spirits may grow in you, Christ Jesus. Father God, we ask you, Lord, to touch them, Father God, that as they grow, they will not come up in this world, Father God, being confused, Father God, and being a part of the world. Father God, make them your children, Father God. Continue to help us, Father God. Give us a tool that we will lead and guide them, Father God, the way they must go. And Father God, we ask you, Lord, to continue to bless us and touch us, Father God, that we will walk in obedience unto you, Father God. Not being like the world, Father God. And we ask you, Lord, continue to just bless us all. And Father God, put in our mind, Father God, that we would teach others, Father God, as we go. That we would change the mind of some, Father God, that they would not get caught up in these terrible things. Father God, continue, Lord, to use us throughout. That we will forever bring glory to your holy name. In Christ Jesus. Amen. Amen.
What's up? I mean, you did announce up, bud. We know what you did the announcement. She didn't do the announcement.
Well, we're doing the regular service. I'm sorry, I forgot.